Well, alright guys, I'm back again to complain about video games. Today, we're looking at the game I have personally put the most time into, which is League of Legends. And the new champion, which I had such high hopes for. Such high hopes. He seemed so cool. And then he was revealed, and I couldn't be more disappointed. I really couldn't. It just, there was so much potential for what could be, and they gave him such, like, some of it's cool. His Q and his W, great. Okay, great. But his passive and his ult and his E are just, they're garbage. They're garbage. Now, I'm not saying garbage as in they're not powerful. I'm saying garbage as in they're just not cool. They're not as much as they could be. And I'm going to tell you guys what I personally would do now. Obviously, I haven't spent months working on this like them. So obviously, these are just some ideas of things that they could have done to show what I think this champion could have been. And obviously, I don't have numbers or anything like that, and I can't test it, so I don't know. Maybe they tried this stuff out and it didn't work at all. But I mean, this is just my idea of what I think this champion really could have been. So we're starting off with this passive, Friend of the Forest. Now, this is so lame. Like, it's so lame. The jungle is already not very interactive experience, because you're just, I'm not talking about, you're not interacting with players as much, and it's a lot of just, you're just using your abilities on the jungle and just going one at a time, and it's just, pretty repetitive. Not that that's not fun, but it's, this takes it and to the next level of on interactiveness. Like, you just put the thing down and then walk away. You don't have to cast any abilities or do anything. And what I think this could have been is changed slightly. So you still put the circle thing down, but what it does is it's on a cooldown of, like, say, I don't know, like 2 minutes. It'd be like, maybe go down. Like, I don't have numbers, but every so often, the first camp you go up to and you right click on, like you do to put that circle in. It does the circle, but it's probably about twice as fast. And what it does, though, is instead of just taking the camp, it'll tame the camp, and that camp will follow you around, and it will grant the camp, and you'll be granted bonuses depending on what the camp is. For instance, if you tame the Gromp will probably get a buff to health and damage, because otherwise, like, there'd be no point. You have to make each of the camps, there has to be a reason to take each of the camps, because, like, if you took Gromp, you wouldn't ever want Gromp over Blue, right? Because Blue is just stronger than Gromp, so Gromp would have to get a buff to its stats. But if you took Blue, you would get the Blue buff yourself, and Blue would probably just stay the same. But you don't just get the Blue golem, you get, like, the little minions too. And they follow you around, and that's how you clear the jungle. You start off by taking control of one of these camps, and then they follow you around, prioritize. They don't have to have complex AI. They don't have to be able to be controlled like Tibbers or his current alt. It could just be they prioritize what you're attacking. They prioritize what things that get hit by your Q and champions, right? So, it's just really basically they just follow you around. And then that's how you clear the jungle, of course. Now, Q, great. Definitely would keep this the same. This is, it would interact with your, the monsters that you take control of. I guess you tag a champion with it, and all your monsters will jump on them. Super cool. The bushes, again, creating bushes. Cool. Get a ranged attack when inside a bush. Cool. And this ability is another one that I have a huge problem with. Like, it's so on-thematic, and it's so lazy. Like, oh my gosh, he puts a shield on someone, and then it explodes and slows people. Like, this is, like, the most unoriginal ability ever. Like, come on, guys. Seriously? And instead of it's on-thematic, it's like, how do we make him have a shield? A seed. Yeah, good job, whoever came up with that one. Just really ingenious design there. They could have tried a little harder. If I would have made this exact ability or something very similar to this. I probably would have done like forest armor or something like. The seed just doesn't make sense, right? The seed of protection, trigger seed, amazing. There's an amazing quality on that one, right? Now, personally, what I would do with this is I would change it completely, and I would call it either like Blessing of the Forest or Boon of the Forest, because I like the idea that he buffs people. I also like the idea that he shares buffs. Now, with the new passive that I gave him, you can't share buffs like you can with his current passive, so what I would do with this new ability, this new E, is I would have it say that Ivern and all friendly champions and summons in an area around him temporarily gain red buff and blue buff. So it's a team-wide red buff and blue buff, potentially. Maybe we could have a passive effect too, I'm not really sure. But this is another way for him to still be the guy who, shares buffs with his team. And I think that's a really unique and cool ability. It doesn't have to be, it'd probably be a pretty short time because that'd be very powerful, like maybe 5 seconds, maybe 4 seconds. You'd have to play with numbers and balancing there, but I think that's a really cool ability. Now, for his ult, again, like, how lazy can you be? Like, I'm pretty sure they just took Tibbers and recolored it. Like, seriously. It's a Tibbers. It's just like Tibbers, except instead of doing AoE damage and sometimes stunning on impact, it sometimes knocks people up. I just want everyone to take a moment to really take that in. It is the ultimate is the chance you have to take a character to the limit. This is as crazy as the character can get. This is their biggest moment, the peak of what they can do. And they copied an ult that's already in the game. And that just bothers me, honestly. It's so unique and cool, and it just really this is what they came up with. So here's my change. Now my change is pretty over the top, and I don't think that they would ever do it, but this is what I came up with that I thought they should do. And so it has a little text here: Ivern summoned Daisy, an enormous sentinel who loves hugs and all that stuff. Now I would change this to say Ivern is friends with even the most fearsome creatures of the forest, and he can call upon them to aid him in his time of need. And I would call this ability Call of the Baron Nashor. And it has a long cooldown. I would say about as long as Karthus ult, if not longer, and it summons a Baron Nashor in a small area of the current level. Now, this has to come with restrictions, otherwise it would be extremely broken, and those restrictions would be Baron Nashor cannot deal damage to towers. Baron Nashor is prioritized last by towers, so that it's not like you can summon him to infinitely tank towers, and you can't summon him to just on top of a tower to take it. And Baron Nashor is friends with all other Baron Nashors and dragons, and will not attack them or be attacked by them. So again, you can't use it to tank the dragon, and you can't use it to just take the objectives really fast. So this is very reminiscent of leauge's ult, as in it could potentially be devastating if it placed in a good spot. You can use it to block escapeways, but it's all about positioning of Ivern and positioning of the ult, the Baron. And I think that's what's really cool about it, because like I said, it's like a leauge's ult. Obviously, the Baron probably lasts 15 seconds, probably, something like that. And why I'm saying it's all like leauge's ult is because it's just a zone control, right? It's like, this zone is now very dangerous, just like when a leauge ults, that zone in which he ulted is very, very dangerous, but you can just walk away from it, and that's kind of like your counterplay there. And I just, I think if that was his kit, it would be so amazing, because if you think of the potential of this, it would be there's the potential that you drop the Baron and everyone walks away, but there's also the potential that you like root, you throw out this thing, you know, and then you dash to someone, and like you place the Baron behind them, and then like you're in the middle of the team, and they're all scrambling around. Your team's dropping some CC on them, and they're all just stuck by the Baron. Man, it would be awesome. Like, it'd be really awesome. Then he gives his team the red buff and the blue buff, and you know he's placing out bushes, and if he comes out in this fight, he has like, you know, the whole Raptor squad behind him. That's the dream I have for Ivern. That's the dream I have, guys. And that's what he could have been, honestly. And I'm disappointed he's not. Now, obviously, I said my idea with the Baron is like, well, probably a little over the top. I don't know. I don't think Riot would ever do that, but it could have been something. I'm just saying it could have been a lot cooler, and it's not. It's really lame. Anyway, guys, this has been cowZ, and I hate games. Deuces.